have to figure out how we're going to build our buildings to ensure that they're cooler, so that they use less energy, and at the same time strong for hurricanes and earthquakes and resilient.
We urge you to absorb Prime Minister Andrew Holness' statement as we observe Disaster Preparedness Month. After all, it is only by making our communities resilient will we be able to withstand natural disasters. You're inside the pages of Jamaica Magazine, and we have an information-packed program just for you, so stick around.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Monday, June 26. New labeling, packaging, and food safety requirements for brown and granulated sugar will become mandatory for prepackaged sugar this Saturday, July 1. The new revised mandatory standards for brown cane sugar were gazetted on December 30, 2016. They called for all prepackaged sugar available to the retail trade to be appropriately labeled to provide consumers with clear and correct information. Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Carl Samuda says sugar repackers must be registered with the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, NCRA.
This will now ensure that the consumer will be getting a product which is perceived and processed and packaged under hygienic conditions and free from foreign matters.
He says to date, 6 repackers have been identified and sensitized by the Bureau of Standards Jamaica and the National Compliance Regulatory Authority. 4 are now registered with the NCRA, while the other 2 are expected to meet the requirements for registration before the end of June. In the meantime, the Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries maintains that there is no plan to ban meat products from Brazil at this time. His announcement follows news that the United States Department of Agriculture has suspended the importation of all fresh beef from Brazil following safety concerns.
This is a matter affecting fresh beef. If we don't import fresh beef, Jamaica will not be imposing any ban on beef.
As for Jamaica's continued importation of corned beef, which comes from processing plants in Brazil, Minister Samuda says they have been found to be compliant with international standards.
We have done our tests. We have carried out surveys extensively, and we are satisfied that our surveys carry the level of integrity that would cause us to continue to do the importation of corned beef into the country.
But while the USDA issue with fresh Brazilian beef does not affect Jamaica, he says the situation is being monitored and further updates will be provided to the public as the need arises. 31 Clarendon families now have proof of land ownership, having received their titles from bauxite company Jamalco on Friday. The titles were presented to persons who had been resettled as a result of mining activities. They are among 99 occupants in 10 subdivisions to whom Jamaica have successfully transferred titles over the last 2 years as part of its land settlement agreements with residents. Minister of Transport and Mining, Mike Henry, congratulated the bauxite mining company for the initiative while challenging Jamalco to expedite the process even more.
And I have given instructions to the bauxite companies to double their efforts in providing titles to persons who have been relocated.
Jamaicans can now access reliable healthcare at a distance using the latest in information and communications technology, ICT. This is through the Doctor on Call application, which allows patients to consult with their doctors and obtain diagnosis through video conferencing. Science, Energy and Technology Minister Andrew Wheatley has commended the innovators of the game-changing app, saying it represents a paradigm shift in the way patients access healthcare services.
There are so many of our people who are plagued by their inability to access top quality healthcare because of distance, cost, and a variety of other impediments. When we bring technology to bear on many of these challenges, an entirely new reality comes to fore. with a whole new set of possibilities and treatment options.
The app was launched by physician and head of the School of Health and Health Technology at UTech, Professor Winston Davidson, and his business partner Sanjeev Kumar Ranjaya. Doctor on Call can be downloaded free of cost from the Google Play Store for Android smartphones and tablet users, and at the Apple Store for users of iPhones and iPads by typing Doctor on Call Global. It is also available through Google Chrome for laptops or desktop computers at droncalljamaica.com. And finally, the Jamaican Association on Intellectual Disabilities, JAID, has commissioned into service a vertical wheelchair lift to facilitate ease of access for persons with mobility challenges. The lift was purchased at a cost of $8 million. It will transport persons who use wheelchairs, prosthesis, and adaptive aids such as crutches, canes, and walkers. Students of the Randolph Lopez School of Hope, located at JAID's premises in St. Andrew, will also benefit from the use of the lift. Funding to purchase and install the lift was procured through the Kiwanis Club of Constant Spring, Chase Fund, the National Health Fund, and Magnum Motors. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has commended the public-private sector partnership that made the project a reality.
And today, I think, represents that true spirit of partnership, of charity, of volunteerism, which frankly is essential if we are to build a civilized society.
With the installation of the wheelchair lift, JAID is now compliant with Article 3 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which speaks to fair accessibility. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Safety on our roads is our responsibility. Jamaicans, drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
We go now to Jamaica House to see what the Prime Minister and his team have been up to this past week.
The bauxite and alumina industry is reclaiming its significant role in job creation and sustained economic development. This evening, we take this opportunity to acknowledge 40 of our educators and to show our appreciation for their commitment and service. I wish you well, and I wish you all great success.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has committed his government to investing heavily in the island's human capital in order to fast-track economic growth. A main component of that strategy, he says, is the Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment HOPE program.
It is the intention of the government to ensure that all these investments that require high technology and high human resource capabilities, that they can be found right here in Jamaica.
Mr. Holness was speaking at Wednesday's official reopening of Gisco Alpart, Jamaica at Nain in St. Elizabeth. 575 Jamaicans are currently employed at the plant, with the Chinese operators promising more jobs once they build another 2 million tons per annum plant to complement the now 1.6 million ton facility. Gisco has also proposed to invest in excess of $2 billion to create a special economic zone to include an aluminium foil plant, an expanded Port Kaiser, an energy-efficient power plant, a tool and manufacturing plant, as well as a logistics and transportation hub. Prime Minister Holness said government will be ensuring that the island takes advantage of these and other investments. This, he says, will be done through the streamlining of the public sector.
Once this economic policy is settled and working, then Jamaica would not have space to accommodate and welcome the number of investors who would want to make Jamaica their first choice for investment.
It was back to Kingston Wednesday, where the Prime Minister recognized 40 educators for their extraordinary commitment to building a confident and vibrant Jamaica. Mr. Holness called on the teachers to lead by example to engender an attitude of lifelong learning.
I recognize all our teachers with a deep sense of appreciation and gratitude for the dedication with which they continue to play their role in building a confident and vibrant Jamaica.
And Prime Minister Holness welcomed the first batch of 250 recruits to the National Service Corps program. The Jamaica Defence Force is facilitating the training of the first 4 batches for the financial year as part of the Learn, Earn, Give and Save Legs program. Under the program, recruits aged 18 to 23 will undergo 1 year of Army training, after which they will choose to stay in the Army or seek employment elsewhere.
Having gone through this national service, your possibilities are endless. You would be far more employable than if you had not gone through this program. I'm expecting that you will make the most of the program, and I'm expecting that the program will be a success for other young men and women to come in and benefit. I wish you well, and I wish you all great success.
And at Jamaica House Friday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness met with Sir George Aline, outgoing Chancellor of the University of the West Indies Mona campus. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. We return next time with more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister. Nominations are now open for the 2017 Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence. Persons 15 to 29 years old may apply and be recognized for their work in 11 exciting categories. There's also a Jamaica 55 commemorative category for youth engaged in community-based volunteerism. Access nomination forms by visiting moey.gov.jm, youthjamaica.com, or any youth information center across the island. Nominations close August 31.
With research suggesting an increase in the use of marijuana and cigarettes in the Jamaican youth population, government through its partnership with NGOs is tackling the issue head-on.
Over the years, the prevalence of smoking among our youth from as early as age 13 has been steadily spiraling upward. The most recent Global Tobacco Youth Survey showed that smokers in the age group 13 to 15 increased from 15% to nearly 25% over a 9-year period. This trend is of concern, considering the ill effects of smoking.
Cigarette smoking is associated with nearly every cancer you can imagine. Cancer of the tongue, cancer of the breast, cancer of the cervix, cancer of the pharynx, cancer of the stomach, just to name a few.
There are over 4,000 chemicals in cigarettes that are harmful to the human body.
For example, chemicals that are found in embalming fluid, what is used to preserve dead bodies, chemicals which are found in rat poison, insecticide, chemicals that are found in battery. All of these chemicals are found in cigarette.
Among young people, the short-term health consequences of smoking include respiratory and non-respiratory effects, addiction to nicotine, and the associated risk of other substance abuse. Long-term health consequences of youth smoking are reinforced by the fact that most young people who smoke regularly continue to smoke throughout their adult years. Tobacco can affect youth activities and athletic performance as it narrows blood vessels and puts a strain on the heart.
In addition to traditional cigarette smoking, there have been some rising new trends among our youth.
We have observed a lot of parties, what they call the hookah parties. So the hookahs now comes in different flavors. So there's this myth about there that the hookah pipe is much safer than the smoking cigarette because the water inside of it actually filters out the smoke. But the research it actually does show that hookahs still can cause cancer, TB, or even an STI, because most persons, when they share the tip of they don't change it. So if a person has one STI, actually can pass to the other person.
Then there are e-cigarettes.
The e-cigarettes don't have tobacco per se, but they have nicotine, they have other chemicals in it, and many of them come flavored. They are glamorized, right, because many of them are marketed by celebrities, and they are touted as being relatively safe. But not because they don't have tobacco and many of the other chemicals that are seen in cigarettes, they are not necessarily safe. They do have other chemicals. And one chemical that is seen in some of the flavorings that are used in e-cigarettes is called diacetyl. Diacetyl is a chemical that was used to make the buttery flavor that was used to give microwave popcorn that taste. It was then banned because the factory workers in the factories making the microwave popcorn got ill.
Another popular smoking option among teenagers is marijuana. But does marijuana or ganja smoking pose any risk to the teenage smoker?
The research does show that there's a big difference between a teenager smoking and an adult smoking. And the simple fact is this, is that your brain is not fully developed until age 22, 23. So there's a part of the brain which controls the executive function of the body, weighing consequence, all of these different things. So when you start using drugs at an early age, it actually impacts that part of the brain. So that's why you do have some of the students, so if you realize they're not doing well in class, right? It's like they get very upset or angry easily. All the research shows that once you start smoking from an early age, the long-term consequences are more severe. For example, in the 30s, if you start smoking as a teenager, later on in life, when it lowers your IQ level.
The Jamaica Cancer Society cites peer pressure, stressful relationships, and unresolved challenges at home as the three main reasons for teenage smoking.
Unfortunately, many young persons are under the mistaken impression that cigarettes eliminate stress. This is certainly not so. We therefore encourage students to seek help from their parents and teachers to resolve any issues that they may be facing. Do not turn to smoking for answers.
To help teenagers quit smoking, there is the Fresh Start Smoking Cessation Program, offered by the Jamaica Cancer Society in association with the American Cancer Society.
This is a comprehensive 4-session group-based course that covers issues such as nicotine addiction, managing withdrawal symptoms, weight control, stress management, recognizing and planning for possible obstacles to quitting, staying tobacco-free, and enjoying being a non-smoker.
There's also an annual anti-tobacco youth forum held in February to educate high school students about the dangers of smoking.
Many young people feel that lung cancer in particular is a disease of the elderly, and that they have years ahead of them before the dangers of smoking will affect them. So it is our responsibility to educate and to be able to tell our younger folk, don't start if you haven't started, and to stop if you actually have, because the dangers of cigarette smoking actually start from day one, from that first cigarette.
For more information on programs to help teens quit smoking, contact the Jamaica Cancer Society at 927-4265 or visit their website at jamaicacancersociety.org. You may also call the National Council on Drug Abuse at 926-9002-4 or visit their website at ncda.org.jm.
Guys, I'm not ready.
Ready long time. Let's go. Ready, Mona? Yeah. Oh, Shelly, I have a file for you for tomorrow, okay?
All right.
I'm gonna leave it on your desk.
Sure, go right ahead.
But Shelly, you don't shut down the computer.
But it not gonna do nothing.
But of course, when you leave it on, it burns excess energy.
I say go?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you know that the country foots the bill to import the fuel that produces electricity? Let's all play our part to conserve on energy by ironing once per week, unplugging all appliances when not in use, and avoid keeping the refrigerator open for a long period of time when removing food. Get smart. Don't get left in the dark.
Jamaica has taken instrumental steps to reduce the cost of energy from a macro level. We have been diversifying our fuel sources. We are now almost fully transitioned to LNG, moving from heavy fuel oils. We are now over 10% of our energy output from renewables, between wind and solar. The Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, is engaged in a process of renewing its energy production and transformation and transmission systems. But at the micro level, the consumer also has a role to play. And we have to build more energy efficient structures.
The need for energy efficiency in Jamaica is not lost on our youth. Take a look.
My name is Jamal Hall and I'm here at Monroe College at our First Form Science Energy Day extravaganza. We are trying to inculcate the use of various alternative energy sources among the First Form group. Some of them are as displays where you have the wind-powered, solar-powered. This is Sandre, he has his piece right here. Sandre, tell me about your piece.
This is a solar pressure cooker. It heats up. When the light shines onto the fire paper, it heats up inside of the box, and because the glass is there, it traps the heat, and it heats up the water bottle. So I would like to feel it now.
Yes, please. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Thank you. All right, let's move over to a wind-powered house done by Sinilla Form 1X. Good day, Sinil.
This is a wind-powered turbine. The wind powers the bicycle generator. Then it moves down to this wire and it powers the light bulb.
What made you choose a wind-powered house?
I felt it was good because of how Monroe was breezy. And it took me a day to build it.
What have you learned about renewable energy from the project?
That it saves work energy. And it prevents global warming.
One of the big thrusts we have here is to ensure that we stimulate an interest in the sciences from very early. So once the kids come in first form, it's a way of stimulating that natural intellectual curiosity and interest in the sciences, particularly alternative energy that the school is very passionate about. And it all ties into this whole thrust towards what we call STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it really is a part of a broader thrust by the school to ensure that this is deeply engendered in the boys and there's this real interest and drive and passion that they have. Hopefully they'll go on to become scientists themselves.
We'll now be moving over to a solar-powered car. Let's see how that works.
We use a plastic bottle, 4 tires from an old toy car, and a rechargeable battery with a 3-volt solar panel and a 1.5 voltage motor inside the car. With the solar panel takes power from the sun, send it to the battery, and the battery powers the motor.
What exactly did you learn from doing this project?
renewable energy is more efficient than fossil fuels.
We are here with Lawton Lewis and his solar-powered car. Now, Lawton, tell us something about this vehicle.
Okay, this vehicle runs off of solar power, right? All of these solar panels equal to 20 volts, right? 2 motor power the front wheels and 1 motor power the back wheel. Reason being because the front is heavier than the back. Right? The whole frame of this vehicle is made out of plywood.
Up next is a homemade solar water heater, and the person responsible for this is my friend here, Vernon. Vernon, tell me exactly how does this work?
We use irrigation pipes to hold the water. We have used the sun's rays to generate the heat of the solar water heater, which heats the water. These green plastic things, they are couplers, which are used to connect into these columns.
Co-curriculum programs such as this is deeply rooted in the concept of project-based learning. And so we're stepping away from the chalk and talk and now towards a system in which students are actively engaged in the process of learning.
I believe that students learn not only from theoretical knowledge but through practical application, and I thought it fitting as a teacher who experiments a lot in the classroom to not only teach the concept energy but also to allow students to exercise some practical work, and from that they will better understand the concept. So in some sense, practical application concretize theoretical knowledge. This assignment was also weighted towards their end-of-year exam, so it has a 20% weighting. This, I think, is very interesting for first formers, so it's like an SBA component of their final exam.
Now it's time to check out my masterpiece. Let's go. Okay, this is a solar-powered company. Now, everyone made houses, but I decided to make a company that could be later on used, meaning that it could develop to something bigger. Here I have my solar panels, and if the sun shines, heats up these 2 panels, and then the light inside the house turns on. The benefits of solar is basically it is healthier, it's cheaper.
They are more cleaner and release less pollutants in the atmosphere than other energy forms.
I found out that green energy is the best energy and that solar panel isn't there and it's better than using the normal electricity.
This whole day is basically about the use of renewable energy, and we are just so glad that you could be able to stop by and see what we have to share, and now we can spread to the whole world what you can achieve using renewable energy sources.
And that's where we take our leave, but only on this station. Our program is available 24/7 on our online platforms. There's jis.gov.jm, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our latest edition, or mobile app. You may also keep in touch by sending an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the hard-working team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.